Amazon's obviously getting more and more expensive to sell on. Their fees are constantly changing. They're constantly introducing new fees. They introduced a bunch of placement fees earlier this year that really changed the way that sellers have to approach shipping product into FBA.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of What's Working in E-commerce. I am your host, Eagan Heath. I'm a partner at Asymmetric Marketing. You can check out the work we do for clients at asymmetric.pro, A-S-Y-M, metric.pro. Today, I'm speaking with a pro in Amazon. I'm really excited to have Peter Eickholt. He is the VP of Operations at ROI Swift. Peter, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Right on. So we were just talking, you had an agency and you guys were doing a bunch of different channels and you've really narrowed it down to Amazon. How did you guys decide to do that and how's that gone for you?
Yeah, it's been a long ride. So we've been around since 2015, started out as paid search and social and Amazon agency. I joined up in 2018 and started heading up the Amazon side and building out that team. And obviously iOS 14 happened back in, I think, 2019. And it really changed Facebook advertising and made it really difficult. And obviously, we've had to work through that. And then this year, we really started looking at it and what we were doing on the paid search and social side. It wasn't as profitable as we wanted it to be for us. And our Amazon side has been growing steadily and has been really working with our business. And it was a tough decision. We went around it for almost a whole day of meetings, just trying to figure out what should we do, how would we do it, what would it look like, and it was a struggle, but especially to give up almost a third of our revenue. But we knew that if we gave that up in the short term, it might hurt, but in the long run, we'd be able to focus 100% in on Amazon and what we do for our Amazon clients, and be able to scale it, build out that team way better than what we could offer on paid search and social. And so niche down to scale up, if you will.
Yeah. And I don't know if I missed it. How long ago was that? And how are you guys feeling about the decision?
That was actually earlier this year. It was in Q2 of this year. And yeah, so far it was a struggle for about a quarter, but we were getting right back on track and looking to end the year pretty healthy. So I'm excited for what 2025 is going to bring.
All right. Love it, Peter. Now, so since you guys are really gone niche on the Amazon piece, I wonder if you could talk about what is the opportunity there now? I know you guys at ROI Swift, you focus on the ROI piece. What works in Amazon? What doesn't? How do you think about this? Like, where's the opportunity?
Oh, gosh, that's a loaded question. There's so much opportunity on Amazon. There's new brands launching on Amazon every single day and new products coming up. And it's still very possible to be highly successful. If you have a good, solid product that people want and need, and as long as you know how to market it properly, you're going to do fine on Amazon. It's very much a conversion marketplace. I know a lot of people focus on the Amazon advertising piece because that's the fun and sexy part of Amazon. We obviously focus a lot on the advertising and DSP, and obviously AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud, is getting more and more robust these days, and headed into 2025, it's going to get even better. But we also take a step back and really help brands look at their entire business operationally. And I think that's what a lot of sellers that we talk to run into is operationally, they're not ready to scale on Amazon. They might have started out well and they're on a good trend, but then they just can't manage that next step to scale up. And that operational side can be anything from inventory struggles. It could be just profitability and trying to figure that out. Amazon's obviously getting more and more expensive to sell on. Their fees are constantly changing. They're constantly introducing new fees. They introduced a bunch of placement fees earlier this year that really changed the way that sellers have to approach shipping product into FBA. And that was actually a large challenge, and that a lot of sellers haven't really overcome yet, is to stay profitable in spite of that. The opportunity is still huge. A lot of people are still shopping on Amazon. It's a very big marketplace still, but we always like to look at operations, how your product listings, your marketing, how you're marketing your products first, and then we jump into the ads second. Because if you don't have a good, strong product detail page that explains what your product is and explains how it helps the customer, If you're not solid in your inventory management, then advertising isn't going to matter. You can advertise all you want and you're not going to scale and grow because you're going to constantly be dealing with low conversion rates or stockouts and things like that. So we like to make sure the foundation is there when we're working with these different brands.
That's great. And it sounds like I'm thinking Amazon SEO, but it sounds like we're doing Amazon CRO as well. Of we need those product pages looking great so that they convert too. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's both. One of my colleagues, Sam, always likes to say that the copy is for computers and the images are for people. And
That's a good way to think of it.
That's the way we take is the copy on Amazon, your titles, your bullet points, your descriptions, making sure those are keyword rich and keyword relevant, and not just stuffing every keyword that you can into your title to make it where it looks completely unreadable. It may help you a little bit on SEO side, but your conversion is probably not going to be there. But you make your copy solid with keywords, but still readable and still interesting to those who do read. And then you optimize your imagery, your product detail page main images, your A+ content to feed that customer everything that they need to do to make a purchase decision. Starting out with those images up top, giving the highlights, giving what your product is, how it works, what it's going to do for the customer. And then your A+ content is where you can really open up and talk more about additional points of the product, but also here's our brand and here's what we're about and here's why you should buy from us. And those are the things that really will help your conversion rate so that customers can learn everything they need to know and say, yep, this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to purchase, versus just having really good copy that may be hit or miss because people don't always read.
Yeah, that's great. I come from the Google SEO world. That's how I cut my teeth in digital marketing. How do you talk about how is Amazon SEO different from Google SEO?
Yeah, I'm not an expert at Google. You'll have to excuse me, but Google relies on a much different way to structure your pages and how you structure your SEO and your keywording and things like that. Amazon, it's a tiered system. What you're putting in your title is typically the most important and the thing that they're going to look at first for relevance. Then they're going to look at your bullet points. Then they're going to look at your product description, and then they're also going to scrape your images as well. But that's a hierarchy. So you always want to start with a good, strong title and make sure that your most relevant keywords and your highly trafficked keywords are in your title so that you're capturing that discoverability from Amazon customers. So that, I would say, that's probably the biggest difference. Then there's also the thing that's the same is that, like Google, it just takes time. Once you optimize your page, then it takes marketing, making sure you're advertising the right keywords and driving the right traffic. And then over time, you start to develop that ranking for specific keywords from your product detail page based on relevance and conversion and how much you're selling. Because Amazon's not going to keep showing you in the search results for a keyword if you never convert on it. Maybe you get tons of traffic, but if you don't convert on it, eventually they're going to start busting you down in the search results. That's the important thing of driving the right traffic along with your SEO.
Yeah, that's great. So it's that engagement piece of Google looks at similar things of, do people spend some time on the site? Do they go to multiple pages? Are they clicking? That's important too. It's a signal. So that's great. Can you talk about reviews as well? Of how do you encourage your clients to get more reviews? Do you work with them on that? What seems to work to get more Amazon reviews?
Yeah, I would always start out with some of the tools out there to automate review requests. Amazon started a request a review. They created a request a review button that you can push in on every single order. There's tons of tools out there that can help you automate that. That's the low hanging fruit. Like, you should absolutely have something like that running to request those reviews from customers. I'm sure you've seen it. If you buy from Amazon, every once in a while, you get that email, hey, such and such seller wants to know how you liked this product. That's that request a review. So that's one. Product inserts, if you're doing them correctly and within TOS, those can be super helpful as well. Helping to just request a truthful, honest review from the customer is within Amazon's terms of service, as long as you're not incentivizing in any way. You can't say, hey, give us a 5-star review and we'll give you 20% off or something like that. That's absolutely against terms of service. Amazon will bust you for that in the long term, but inserts definitely help. And then as far as just using reviews, the biggest thing we do is use the reviews that we have from customers to better optimize our detail pages. So we will take We'll take those reviews. Amazon's made it even easier now to do it because they already have their AI bots pulling out the relevant stuff into that. But what we've done before is to use things like ChatGPT and other AI platforms to pull in those reviews, pull out the insights. What do people like? What don't people like? What don't people understand when they buy this? Why are they leaving a poor review? Why are they leaving a good review? And then we use that to determine, okay, maybe we need to change around some copy to make sure we're not pulling in this type of customer or this type of search term because people aren't liking it for that specific use case. Or maybe we need to look at, hey, this is something we need to address in an image, or let's update the A+ content to address this point because people are struggling with it and we need to explain it, or maybe we need another video. So those are just some of the ways that you can really level up your product detail page. It'll help with conversion. It'll lower your return rates. The reviews on Amazon are the best thing because they're typically pretty trustworthy and a good source of feedback that you can use to make your product better.
Yeah, that's a great tip for marketing in general is try to get voice of customer. See how your customers talk. What do they like? What do they dislike? And on the things that they liked about your products, put that right at the top, put that in your ads, put that on the landing page, put that everywhere because other people would speak that language too, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And don't be afraid to take that and completely change your product. We've had clients who we said, hey, look, customers just don't like this. They don't like what's going on. We had a mom and baby company a long time ago that they created this new supplement, but nobody liked the taste was off. People hated it. And rather than just try and push through and say, no, it's the customers, that's the problem, we just need to get more customers, they decided, you know what, let's kill it. Let's reformulate, let's figure out this taste thing and relaunch. And it was much better the second time. Not every product's going to be a winner. And sometimes you got to take that feedback and go back to the drawing board, reconfigure your product, and then come out with a 2.0 that's going to be much, much stronger in the long run.
That's great. Yeah. Listen to the marketplace for good or bad and take the constructive feedback. That's so great, Peter.
Yep.
I know you've got some slides too. Do you want to pull those up and educate us a bit here?
Yeah, for sure.
And some people may be listening, so we may need to talk through what we're saying as well.
All right. Yeah, this is one of the biggest things that we were hearing from a lot of sellers this year was profitability. Like I mentioned, Amazon introduced a new placement fees earlier this year where if you, depending on how you're shipping in your product, you used to be able to you could ship in a ton of pallets all to one fulfillment center location. And then Amazon would take it from there and spread it around their network and go from there. But earlier this year, they decided if you want to do that, you still can, but we're going to charge you to move all those units out of that one fulfillment center and across our network because it costs us money to ship all that stuff. It's really changed how you have to approach that. And so we heard a lot of people talk about, we're struggling with profitability. Some of these placement fees are getting to us, and just fees in general are expensive on Amazon. So how do we stay profitable? And so we started putting together a few different ways to jump into this. So the very first thing we start with is looking at your unit economics. There's going to be some products in your catalog that they may not be profitable at all. And you really have to look at that at a unit standpoint and not just overall. It's easy to look at your overall P&L and say, okay, we're doing okay. But there might be products in your catalog that are losing money on almost every sale, depending on how you're advertising them, what the fees are, and things like that. So the first thing you want to do is look at your top ASINs, break down your costs, and look at all those different fees. What's your price, your referral fee, your FBA fee? What does it cost you to make the product? What does it cost you to ship the product into Amazon? What's your overall margin? And then how much are you spending on advertising on this product? If you may say, I have an overall 15% total A cost. That's what I'm spending on my ads, is 15% of revenue is being spent there. But some products may be 15%, some products may be 20%, some products may be 7%. So you have to look at that at an ASIN level and see where you're spending. Are you spending too much on that? We had a client earlier this year who we started doing some digging on this and realized that the spend on one of their products, while it was bringing in a lot of sales, it was doing so at a very low profit. And so we had to cut back advertising. And so their sales came down a little bit, but every sale they were getting was more profitable. That's an important thing to look at, is revenue is great, but if at the end of the day you don't have any profit, then it's pointless to sell that item. Assessing that advertising spend, looking at that revenue after all of your costs and all of your advertising, and then start to look at it. Do you need to raise the price? Do you need to go back and see if there's a way to get your COGS down? Is there a way to repackage your products? And this is a great example of that. Is we worked with this brand that their old packaging was very large and it was in a box. So the box was really large. So dimensional weight was really hitting their FBA fees. And so they shrunk it back down to this box instead of this big bag. And same product, same amount of units. They didn't have to change anything but the packaging. And they saved $1 in fees per unit. That's selling a couple thousand units a month. That's a lot of money coming back. So looking at those product dimensions, looking at your packaging, some items, if you're below a $15 price point, you may have to look at some of your products and say, can I make this a 2-pack or a multi-pack, or can I bundle it with something else in my catalog to make this more profitable so that we can actually work with it and grow it and scale it. So knowing your unit economics can help lead to things like this, where you're looking at FBA fees, looking at how you can better those items. But
love that. This is a great tip, Peter. That's the first time anyone's mentioned that on this show. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another thing I was mentioning, multi-packs. Looking at this product that one of our clients was selling was $8.99 on Amazon. And at the end, after everything, they were walking away with only about 14% in margin, which just didn't leave them a lot to work with. And so we said, hey, let's spin it into a 3-pack. Now we're selling it at $23.99, and we're ending up with a 28% margin after everything, all is said and done. So those little changes can really change your business and make you more profitable in the long run. It can be painful sometimes in the short run to give up hey, I've had this single pack product forever and it's always sold well, to try and move it to a multi-pack. But in the long run, it's going to lead to more profit.
Yeah, I love that. Look at your packaging, change it if you can have some advantage there, and then bundle things together so that you're selling more per time. And in this case, almost doubled the margins here. I love it.
Yeah. And then the third thing is improving your conversion rate. Conversion rates on Amazon are in general very high. And you can push all the traffic you want. You can spend a ton in advertising, but if people aren't buying when they get to your product detail page, then it's all for nothing. So like I said before, make sure you're writing your copy for that discoverability. You got to make sure you're getting the relevant keywords in the right places in your titles, bullet points, keywords, your back end. And then imagery obviously is the big conversion rate driver. We've seen image changes just absolutely upend performance.
Yeah,
I think I have
totally improve it. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I think I have a case study here, but this is one of the changes. Just by changing the images, we saw a 93% increase in units ordered. ROAS increased, almost doubled. The conversion rate went from 37% to 45% on this product.
Love it.
Conversion rate on advertising increased by 100%. So just by changing images, this particular product went from, it just had images, sort of basic images of each side of the product. And that's really all it had. And what we came in and we changed over, hey, we need to explain the benefits. We need to explain what this product is and all that stuff. And just by adding in those 6 new images, it completely changed this product.
I love it. You've got something here too of answer their questions. And so I don't know if you're going through reviews for that, or you're going through the Q&A. How do you figure out what people's questions are?
Review analysis is one of the biggest ones. We also look at the Q&As are a little bit harder to look at now because they've changed it into more of an AI driven. You can ask a question and they'll go through it, versus it used to be just open where you could go see all the questions, see all the answers. But reviews are a big one. The other thing too is going through returns. What are people saying when they return this item? Why are they returning this item? If you're selling clothing and they say it's size related, okay, is there a trend there? Do you need to change your size chart or something like that? So return information is another big one to get those questions. What do people need to know in order to purchase your product?
That's excellent. Love this one.
And then we just have a couple success stories. I can share this out for sure, but working with companies like Let Me Shine and Humble Co., they they're great partners. Helping them grow in their business has been a lot of fun over the last several years. Yeah, that's the 3 tips that we have for increasing your profitability on Amazon. I'm sure there's a lot more other ways to do it, but those are some of the top ways to look at really helping your profit increase.
Oh, I love it. Peter, I know you guys are at roiswift.com. You're Peter Eickholt. I know you're on LinkedIn here. Is there another place people could find you? And maybe you could talk too about who's a good fit for you guys.
Yeah, the best way to get to us is our website. Just jump into our contact us page and shoot an email over to us. And we're really responsive. We'll usually get back within the same day or next day. As far as who we work with, we love to work with sellers of all kinds. If you're a larger brand doing over $100,000 a month in revenue and you're looking to scale and grow profitably, you're a good fit for us. But if you're also a smaller brand, if you're only doing maybe $10,000 or $20,000 a month, we also have some services that we can help get you launched and push for that initial growth on Amazon to get you to the point where you can really scale and blow up your business. Yeah, so we're excited to work with brands of all kinds.
All right, love it. Peter Eickholt, thank you for coming on and sharing what's working in e-commerce.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.